everybody. Welcome back to Buzzing About Romance. I am Becky, and joining me for this episode is Jenni. Hi, Jenni.
Hey, Becky.
And Leah. Hello, Leah.
Hello.
And Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
Um, so we've been off for a week. Let's see if we can get this together, right? We took Sunday off.
We did.
Because I had a meltdown. I just had a meltdown. So my brain melted and I needed some time. So that's all. Anyway. But we're back this week. This is a reread for me this week. We actually did the very first quick shot with Drinks with the Bees was this book.
Oh, really? It was the very first one?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Back in August of 2020. So it was interesting. This is the first time I've reread it since then because I don't get to do a lot of rereading. So it was interesting to go revisit. And I have thoughts. I have big thoughts. So for this episode, we are reviewing The Wedding Date Disaster by Avery Flynn. It's really interesting. Is this a first read for anybody? For this book?
The
for you?
first time I read it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the first time I've read Avery Flynn, actually, period.
That's my next
really?
question.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
thought you've read her before.
No.
was this your first Avery Flynn? We had her as a book club author.
No, Jenni, you've read her Hardigans, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I've read her before.
So it was at this point with Avery Flynn books that I was like, she's my one-click author. I love her books. So funny. But then it was like 3 books later, I was like, we break up.
It wasn't 3 books later. It was quite a few books later, but...
No, legit. It was 3 books later.
Was it really?
After the first book of The Cousins. I went and I looked.
realized the Cousins were 3 books later.
3 books later were The
a couple
Cousins.
more in there.
Nope. And we broke up.
There was a big breakup for multiple of us.
Yeah. So, but I feel like this book is classic Avery Flynn. This is what I love. So anyway, tell us all the things and then so we can talk about it. Who wants to do that?
I got it.
Okay.
So release date was August 25th, 2020. Tropes are enemies to lovers, best friends, twin brother. It is a slow burn, small town, going home type thing. It is the dating disasters, but there's only one so far, and I don't think she ever planned to make this more of a series.
The twin brother is supposed to get a book.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was going to ask if he had one. So
He's supposed to be getting one.
It is a standalone. It is told in dual third person. The put up percentage is 65%. Kelsey Navarro does the narration. It's just single narrator, and it is available everywhere, and the audio is in Hoopla.
I did listen to the audiobook, and I love Kelsey Navarro, and this audio was fantastic.
It was really good. Yeah, I re-listened.
I did the audio too.
I switched back and forth.
I really enjoy her narrating style. I think that she has a really nice cadence. She has a good flow. She keeps, it's like steady. She doesn't like change her intonation unless it like calls for a change. So,
yeah. I think that with this book that Kelsey Navarro does such a good dude's voice that you're not... And I think it helps that it's in third person POV. I'm coming to the realization, one narrator for third person, even dual POVs. I think it's fine with me. I don't miss one or the other.
Yeah, it doesn't bug me.
Do either Jenni or Amanda, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I like it that way, actually. I mean, like most of like Nora Roberts' books are single like narrator, like, and that's typically like kind of like the most third person I listen to. So it doesn't bother me at all. I liked this narrator.
So with this book, so people don't realize this, Avery Flynn lives on the East Coast now. She always writes Harbor City, which is her own version of New York City. I really thought it was Baltimore or Annapolis for a really long time.
Yeah, but I thought it was more east.
Yeah.
East, northeast as well.
I thought it was more like southeast, that middle. But it is supposed to be her version of New York City. But Avery Flynn herself talks about how she grew up in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. and that like she lived with her grandparents and her mom, and it was cornfields and never anything. And so I actually interviewed her years ago about this book, and basically the hometown is her hometown. That's how long it takes you to get anywhere. And her family is not quite as quirky. And I'm like, liar, but
yeah, I question that statement.
Stacy says she thought it was like San Francisco or the West Coast, which is interesting because the very first time I read Avery Flynn was The Charmer. And that's your first introduction into Harbor City. And I thought it was the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I could see that too, like in Seattle.
Seattle. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing. She kind of pulls a lot of little bits from all of the big cities. So like she has this like amalgamation of like the ultimate cities.
Yeah.
So because it has like little pieces from different ones. So it's kind of just how you recognize it.
Right. Well, I just think it's fascinating in the setting of Harbor City how each of us, as we read it, interpret it a little differently, right? Like Jenni thought it was a little more middle coast. Amanda, did you have a feeling one way or another about Harbor City?
I was just thinking like kind of big city she came up with. Like I probably in my brain thought East Coast.
Yeah. And
the only reason I like took it out of the West Coast was because it took like a 4-hour plane ride. Because I wasn't quite sure like where it was. Because I kept going like, where is this place?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. She leaves enough little clues like that, like when they're traveling, where like if you're going based on travel times, like like kind of where she is placing it, but you have to understand how plane travel and all that stuff works time-wise too.
I just think it's fascinating if we look at when an author creates a city that doesn't exist, how each of us kind of interpret it a little differently and find our own comfort. Because to me, New York City is always a little grittier, a little harsher. So if you move down the coast to like Annapolis or Baltimore, while Baltimore can be a little grittier.
I was gonna say Baltimore is gritty.
But right on the harbor, it's not.
Yeah, this is true.
And Baltimore, it gets a bad rep, but it actually has done quite a bit to expand and show the city. So I think it's interesting. I thought it was something that's unique when an author makes up a city and then each reader interprets it differently.
It also says a lot about the author that she can create this city, or they can create a city where it's like there's such a dynamic piece to it that you have to really question, like, where is this based off of?
And oftentimes when we review on these episodes or when we talk about things on our Sunday episodes, we're really focused on things like chemistry and characters. We don't always talk about the settings or the world building that happens. Yeah. And, because oftentimes, especially if we're talking about a contemporary book, like last week we did Peachtree Grove, Georgia. Peachtree Cove, Georgia.
Or on the other side.
Well, no, that Carmen Lee, the relationship mechanic, right? Is that the name?
Yeah.
That takes place in Peachtree Grove, and that publisher sent me an email today to be like, "Hey, we have books for you," and I was like,
"Oh yeah, I was talking to her when the email came through, and I thought like she squealed just a little."
So Peachtree, but as soon as we all hear Peachtree, right? We all instantly know that that's in Georgia.
Right.
And we know what small town Georgia kind of looks like.
Yeah.
So we don't often get like people building a big city and, how the setting works. And if I feel like if an author is going to build a city or build the setting, it's a character of its own, right? Like Bootleg Springs. The town is its own character. Harbor City, I don't know if it's its own character.
No, it's just a really nice backdrop to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Well, and when you keep it vague like that, then you can make it fit whatever you need it to fit, right?
True. Anyway, just thought it was an interesting piece we don't often talk about. Okay, so this is a rom-com, laugh out loud funny. I think it's sexy and swoony. It's classic haters to lovers. Like, these people hate each other.
But do they?
That opening scene when she's at the fundraiser and he just saunters in.
Well, in like a hoodie and jeans, too.
Because he owns the hotel.
I know.
And she has no use for him.
No. Well, and he has no use for her either.
Yeah. This is one of those. Okay, so let's talk about the trope of hate to love, enemies to lover. Because I don't think this is a big favorite of yours, is it, Amanda?
It depends. I mean, it really depends on
how
like
it's written.
Yeah, it depends on how it's written. But also, I think when I started this one, I thought there was another book, like where we got some more backstory to why they hate each other so much, because it's like immediate, and I was like, okay, where's the rest of this story? So
we don't.
That was the big thing for me, because that much animosity, like I want to see like a little
there should have been like a lead
in
to it,
and like, so that was my only complaint with that. I mean, it depends on how it's done.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she wrote this book. People were clamoring for Fiona Hartigan's book.
Yeah.
Her roommate.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Because the Hartigans are the spinoff from Tomboy, Parental Guidance, and
Parental Guidance spun off
that's
of
the
Hartigans.
hockey. Yeah, it's
Hartigan spun off from the Charm City.
Butterface. No, the Hartigans are Butterface, Muffin Top, and Tomboy.
Yeah.
And after everybody read Tomboy, they all desperately wanted Fiona's story. And she was kind of this lost Hartigan that we didn't get, and then we haven't gotten any of the brothers yet.
Didn't we originally met the Hartigans in that initial series, though?
In Charm City. Yeah, or the Charmer.
Yeah.
The very first, yeah. Because the oldest Hartigan sister marries one of the boys, the one that works at the museum that's obsessed with ants.
Yes.
But yeah, we kind of are plopped into their hatred without any background.
Yeah, so I think that was my only problem with that.
Yeah. Do you feel that the general evolution of their hate to love, did it feel like it happened fast? Did you feel like it was overdone, or drawn out too much? Jenni, did you?
Well, I felt like he could have been a little smarter. Dude, how many people need to tell you things aren't the way you think they are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just, although I actually do like him, because he's not a squishy cinnamon roll hero. He's not
he's
even
an asshole from start to finish.
Right. He's not even a stern brunch daddy. He is simply an asshole.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is something that I really do like in this book, because he does come around for her. So he's an asshole to the world, but not to her anymore in the end.
But even his grand gesture, I'm like, dude.
Oh, he fucked up bad.
You overcorrected.
But I will say, he did recognize how poorly he chose. It makes me think of Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, when he's like, he chose poorly. That's the first thing that pops into my head, because dude, that was such a mistake.
But don't you think there's a realism to her characters? Because come on, we are all married to men.
Well, and I think that's the thing, is his ego was right there through that whole thing, and then it's when she does not simp and for him, and he's like, well, what did I do wrong?
Let me give you a list, buddy.
Right.
I mean, truth.
One of the things I will say in this book, which I love and I have found is a way to keep me engaged in your book, the banter in this book. Even if we take out what a jerk he was and not as smart as he was, the banter in this book felt top tier.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept the pacing of the book moving forward, especially for a slow burn. Did anybody else have any thoughts on the banter?
I love the banter and like the side characters that we were introduced. Like when they go to her, is it her uncle's like nursing home
No, the
facility?
Her
granddad.
The
grandfather.
granddad.
That's
I couldn't
granddad.
remember. Like when they're there and like all the chaos that is happening there. It's just there's so many little things that Avery Flynn does right when it comes to a rom-com, when she gets the book right.
She gets
But so it just works really well. There's just like chaos and it's very true chaos.
She does always give us really good elderly side characters.
She does.
You know, we have the grandma in the Cousins book, the parents in the Hardigans.
In the Hardigans, yeah.
You know, they're always, these grandparents are always just ridiculous, and I love them. And I thought Granddad, I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Amanda, give us your thoughts on Hadley Donovan. What did you think of her as a main character?
I liked her. I like the idea like where you have to go home from somewhere that you were trying to get away from, and then you realize kind of, you know, what you left at home, or, you know, you come to some realization that it's not as bad as you thought it was when you left. I think that was probably more my favorite part of the book, and especially with her, you know, kind of her relationship with her family, and I enjoyed that part of it, I think, the most.
Yeah.
I liked her as a character. Like she wasn't, you know, she wasn't just like some simpering person. Like she gave as good as she got, you know.
Yeah.
I liked her.
I struggled a little with her, and I'm curious what you think, Jenny, with her pretending that her life is more glamorous than it really is.
Well, I was like kind of leading into, I was going to ask if this has a trigger warning.
No, this would be pre-trigger warnings.
Okay. Because like when like her father's death came up, like I understood her need to like be perfect to kind of relieve like her mom doesn't need one more thing to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then run.
Yeah. Well, and you also have to realize too that oftentimes, so this is trad published through Entangled. Entangled does not include trigger warnings in their books at all, ever. They often, so it's up to authors to put it on their website, and I don't know if Avery does or not.
I don't know. I haven't trolled her
Yeah,
lately.
it just kind of like it was kind of jumped out at me, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Same.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
but if you also think like, yes, this book was written 5 years ago, but if you're looking at the social media like presence of people now, like you see the perfection, you see what you like they want you to see, like you don't see the bad. So I think that it kind of actually I think that ages well in the sense that like that's how a lot of people live now. It's like they only show like the good things or like how amazing things are, or what like the good things that they do. It's like they can be a shit person 90% of the time, but they only show you those 10% like that 10% where they are like on top of things and being like the most amazing person ever.
Well, it's funny because I was watching
Or
it.
like I think
Go ahead.
she talked about like the angle of her closet.
Yeah.
That's where I was going.
She has a walk-in closet. Yeah.
Well, because if we think about it, that's so relatable because like you guys are only seeing this much of my room. But if you go to book club, you see what sits behind me, the stack of boxes, the craft supplies sticking out of the bookcase, and, you know, all the shit piled everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's
like you can't see the laundry basket over here at the moment.
Amanda's
like,
the only one
I
with
have a
like
stack of boxes
tidiness.
behind
Oh no,
me that you can't
there's
see.
weights behind me and like all kinds of stuff over there.
But
I'm in like the craft art exercise space of the basement.
yeah, so I think it's just really interesting. And I came across an old TikTok someone liked or commented on an old TikTok of mine, and it was early days, and like I didn't have the bookshelves, and there was like a calendar sitting in the background, but it just made me realize like I do try to very carefully show things and not, you
Well,
know.
that's the thing, like
Yeah.
you curate like what you want people to see, and it is the dawn of like social media and like why people do that. So I think it's a very valid thing where she doesn't want them to see like that she like the life that she really wanted is not as amazing as she claims
Yeah.
or thought even.
So, Amanda, what was your favorite part in this book? Is it her family? Is it I know you talked about, the going home and it's not as bad as you thought it was kind of thing. What?
Yeah, I think probably like when they go to her grandfather's nursing home, like I think that, that gets them in closer proximity and you get kind of past the where they don't like each other and they're kind of having this moment and then, the her grandfather and then his friends, like his female friends in the nursing home. Like I think that was just my favorite part. It was fun. It was kind of heartfelt. I appreciated it. The dress, that they give her to wear. It was
Mhm.
it was good feels in that section.
I do have a lot of questions as to why Grandpa had handcuffs.
Yeah, I think grandpa
Why
gets
are you
freaky. He's
questioning
got 3
that?
girlfriends. I think,
I don't need to know.
Jenny's like,
Good for him.
yep.
move on.
Go get your kink on. I mean, that is one reason like nursing homes have one of the highest STD rates in the country. I mean, honestly,
Okay.
just saying.
I'm just a
I
little
know that's a fact you
concerned
all needed to
if
know.
we
Oh, I
like,
knew.
I already knew.
I mean,
I'm just
Amanda lives in Florida.
concerned.
She knows.
Like, I don't know if, Lynn has been having some health issues. If we have to start looking at nursing homes, do I need to like check out their handcuff policy?
Do you need to pick up some pamphlets at the doctor's office?
Right? Like, dental dams, are those part of your Medicare pay? I just don't know.
I mean, condoms are necessary because STDs happen.
I have so many questions, but apparently no one else did. I think one of the things that Avery Flynn does that's really is well done is she breadcrumbs for possible spin-offs within her books, because even if I don't love a book that Avery has written, inevitably there will be one character in there that I'll be like, huh, do they have a book? I hope I get their story. Like, she's really good at seeding the crowd with enough characters that as a reader, you're going to look and see, did they already have a book or are they getting a book?
Yeah.
And I don't think every author can do that.
Mm-mm.
No.
I think, because there are authors that you have to, tell. You need to seed this a little more so we know that there's another book down the road.
But then you have those authors who write really great characters and they're like, I never planned on writing a book for them. It's like, but why? Like, why would you create this amazing side character and then think, I'm just going to leave them to like their own
That's it.
devices? Like, how is that fair
That's
to
the
us
end
as
of their
readers?
existence.
As Susan Stoker says, if you name the character, you're probably going to have to write a book about them.
Do you know how many authors I tell that to?
Yeah.
Like, I quote Susan fairly regularly.
Yes.
That don't name them or you're going to have to write them a book.
Yeah. Especially if you make them intriguing.
Right?
Like if you name them, make them boring because then nobody cares.
Or kill them off.
Or if they're the bad guy, nobody needs that.
Just kill them. I mean,
that's a lot of death though.
I don't mind a death here or there, but apparently there are people that are very not okay with death.
It depends if it's
coming for us
well-deserved or
all.
not.
Right? So one of my complaints of this book is I wish there had been more smaller moments between Hadley and I always get his name wrong. Will. I want to call him Donovan because her name is Hadley Donovan, but he's Will Holt. I wish that there had been more small moments, more building of that intimacy, and I think that that's what's lacking for you, Amanda. Were those small moments?
Yeah, probably. And part of I think why I didn't connect too is I did this kind of like partial audio, partial like eyeball read because I was doing things and I wanted to make sure that I got it read. So I tend to like lose a little focus sometimes on an audio, which is why I mostly only do rereads in audio. So I think part of it was that for me too.
Yeah. No, and I think that legit is fair. But I do think that while I love them together and they had good banter and I think they had really good chemistry, and the fact that it's 65% before it pops and that it's more of a hate, like, I just am going to do this. I think that one of the things that was just lacking were those small, intimate moments. The slight touches, the forehead kisses, you know, the accidental towel dropping. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that...
She did get him some Dramamine.
That
was nice of her. She got him some Dramamine.
She did.
This is true.
And what was it?
Really liked his cowboy hat.
Was it a raccoon, a fox that slips into the
fox?
The
with 3 legs.
The three-legged fox that keeps living into the cabin.
I thought it was hilarious.
Lightning. Okay, I couldn't think of his name. I was like, oh, I know it, but
I like that. But I like a rogue animal.
You like a rogue animal.
And it didn't have wings, so that was
something that would happen to me.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would happen to me too, and you know, then I'd scream, pee my pants, and yell for Mike Burrier. I mean, this is how we solve. Yeah, this is how we solve problems in my house. I scream, I pee my pants, and I yell for Mike Burrier.
I mean, if he can't solve it, then you just need to burn it down.
Right? If he cannot get rid of it and fix it, why are we even here? Like, exactly. Although I will say there is a very large house centipede on the wall of my bathroom that nobody has tried to kill yet.
It hasn't moved?
No. It's there.
It's probably dead.
Well, I'm going to get a lighter.
Those things move. They don't just stay in one place.
If anybody hears that my house burned down, it was my fault because I burned the centipede.
Also, you need to get rid of that shit before I show up in June.
I'm going to take care of it this week, just so you know.
Yeah. But also, if it's still there after like multiple days, it's dead.
He just showed it to me this morning while I was going bathroom. And he's like, look up. And I'm like, my fear is it's a bat, you know?
But also, look up. Like, what if it falls on you?
Right. Also, has anybody ever seen the video of the lady that's sitting on the toilet and the raccoons are in her attic and they come crashing through the bathroom ceiling?
No.
I live in terror of that kind of shit. We have no reason to believe that that is even happening, but I live in terror of that.
Do you have attic space?
Yeah. But it's sealed, but I don't know.
I mean, it's a valid terror, though.
Listen, a bat could fly in at any moment, people.
Oh, God, now that's all I'm going to think about.
You're welcome. You're just so welcome.
We have stuff in our attic, though. Maybe that will help. But that'll all come crashing down, too.
I wish, okay, another minor critique I've had, because, you know, we curved left a little bit. Hadley's lack of honesty about her city life is a little frustrating. Like, how do you not
talked about that?
Yeah, but how do you not talk about your mom? Like, how do you not tell your mom how bad things really are?
Well, because you don't want your mom to like think that things are bad. Like, you want your mom to think that you're living your best life.
Yeah, she doesn't want to put that stress on her mom. Like she
her
feels
mom
like
lived the bad. She is living in like her happy land with Gage. I listened. I don't know what it was.
So, and we spoil this. So if you're listening and you don't want to be spoiled, you should stop now and go to the end or check out the website.
Stopped a while ago.
Susie shares in the YouTube chat that a raccoon's been eating her pond fish. So.
Oh, I'm sorry, Susie.
Okay. So who saw the wedding coming not being a wedding?
100%. Like, dude was
I think
not
when
there.
we were first introduced and she's like, he's not here.
Yeah.
So you really didn't think there was going to be a wedding in the end?
No. I honestly thought he was going to be cheating on her.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Like, it actually was a lot more like, or a lot less drama than I anticipated. Like, I seriously thought first time around, I thought dude was cheating on her, and she like they were gonna like find him with like a bridesmaid or something.
Yeah, especially when he's like, I have a work conference to go to. We can't go on the honeymoon. Like,
Yeah.
Who says that?
dude, I think this has been planned for a while.
And also, like, already in my brain, I'm like, she's gonna be like, her sister's gonna be like the next book, or I'm like wondering if she has a book, and I'm wondering if she's gonna get together with Webb. Like, I'm already like plotting her next relationship.
Mhm.
I was not even remotely thinking she was gonna get married.
Yeah,
Avery Flynn, if
not
you're
at all.
listening and you need a plotting partner, Amanda has ideas for you.
See, I thought Webb was going to be either gay or bisexual.
I thought he was
yeah.
going to be gay.
Okay, well, I didn't see that coming either, so I don't.
Apparently, we did not read the same book as you.
I guess not. I don't know. Anyway, he screws up the grand gesture. Any other thoughts about that?
Yeah, I had a problem with that because I was like, he's been harping on her about being a gold digger the whole time, and then the first thing he does is like offer her like control of like the charity and like all of this money, and I'm like, dude, read
And he
the
does it
room.
publicly, like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, you already humiliated her at the beginning of the book. So, I mean, I kind of had to come full circle where he like humiliates her. And then it's like, here, let me do it while I try not to this time around.
He is very thoughtless in his actions.
Is his frontal lobe fully formed yet?
Well, maybe he's ADHD coded with no impulse control.
I mean, he has a little bit of trauma. And so, like, he's definitely like emotionally stunted because he has this need to control everything around him. But
Yeah.
well, and yeah, he does talk about that. Like their parents died when they were 8, and then his grandma was not affectionate.
I do have a little issue with that because he kept talking about how Webb was his younger brother. It's like he's the older kid, and I want to be like, by how many minutes? Like, I get that you're like the older one, and it's like you have that, but the way that he talks, it's like Webb is like years younger than
But
him.
I think that was part of his personality, his character, that controlling, that OCD, that obsession. And
I agree. It just was something that was like, I would like a minute count on this.
A minute count.
Because if it's less than 3, is he really that like much?
I feel like it says at one point, but I don't remember. I want to say it was like I'm going to say it was under 5, right? It was
like I think it was. Yeah,
I don't remember that because like I said, I was re-listening, and so if I'm listening to a book I've already listened to, I am zoned out for a good chunk of it.
But yeah, but I do think that was just part of his like controlling personality.
And I understand that, but it was just something that, especially when he was like, I'm the older brother, like I have to protect him. I have to make sure everything is right. It's like, I get it, dude, but you're not really that much older.
Yeah.
Like
Leah's saying if she had a twin, she would not fall for
True story. Is there anything else in this book you guys want to talk about before we move on to the next part?
The only other thing like I had was that once they start banging, they bang a lot.
They do.
Oh, they do.
They were horny for each other.
I definitely I was like, okay, yep. Oh, we're to the next chapter. You're still going. Okay.
They
I wasn't mad about it, but I made that note.
They did like their activities once they started.
Like once they she often does a slower burn, but once they bang, there's a lot of bang.
There's a lot of bang. Yeah. Because I'm thinking like awkward. It's just the same. Like,
well, they bang early.
And then they don't, but then once they start banging again.
But then they bang a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's pregnancy, like hormones on top of it. So
is it though?
It's like a whole other.
It depends on your pregnancy.
I mean, it's Avery.
I was gonna say
that's true.
They did like
really
to bang a lot
for most of mine. They banged a lot. Well, and even in Tomboy, once they banged a lot too.
Yeah, I think that's just part of her signature. She builds it up and then
likes a good bang.
They do a lot of banging. How many times can we say bang? Count the bangs for us, guys, and let us know.
Don't make that a drinking game.
No.
You will be wasted.
Okay, so let's do our thumbs up, thumbs down for the wedding date disaster. Amanda, we'll just go ahead and start with you. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways.
I'm gonna say thumbs sideways, and only because I just felt like I was missing something. And maybe if I had read some of her other books and kind of was already introduced into this world, or maybe if, I just like I had like a little bit more information on like the origins of their hate for each other, like I felt like I would have been a little more connected to them.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, like if there was a book for like Webb or her sister, I would read it. So like I'm not gonna, take this and not ever read Avery Flynn again. So
Yeah, that's fair. Leah, thumbs up, thumbs down.
It's thumbs up for me. I enjoy this book. I enjoy the Hardican world. Like,
yeah. Jenni, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways.
Thumbs up. It was a fun book. I mean, and it has the like small touches of like deep connection, but not heavy.
Yeah. It's absolutely rom-com, and I think one of the things with rom-com is if you aren't in the mood for rom-com, it won't hit. This is a thumbs up for me. It was a good reread. I don't know that I enjoyed it as much as I did the first time, but like I said, I love how she seeds characters, and it had me going and checking like, did I see this person in book X? Like, are we leading up to another story about those people? So that is something that I always enjoy with an Avery Flynn book, is how she seeds the side characters. Okay, so if people enjoyed this book or are looking for other wedding date books, what books would you suggest? Does anybody have any?
I got one this time.
Oh, Jenni's got one. We'll let Jenni go, because that way we don't steal it.
The Proposal by Maya Hughes. They are like wedding planners, and they have to work together, and to kind of sell the story, they have a fake engagement, but they're also like competitors.
Also, Maya Hughes, if you're listening, thank you for contacting us and letting us know you're writing again.
Yes,
we appreciate it. She did. She sent a message to let us know that she was writing. And thank you for the shout out.
The episode where I mentioned that like we got the newsletter from her, and like she was letting us know what's going on. She's like, "Oh," but then Becky and I are like, "How did she know we talked about her?"
Please don't listen. We never know what we're saying. Amanda, do you have any wedding planner?
I have a book that's Wrong Twin. I went through my list, and I really, unless they are like, I have like the Nora Roberts like books and some other books, but I don't really have that many like wedding books that I've read. And I went through my list.
She hasn't
like,
went down you need to go to the Kelly Jameson rabbit hole, and then you'll have all the wedding books.
Yeah, so I went Wrong Twin, so Faked by Carla Sorensen. It's book 2 in the Ward sisters. It's Claire. She's like the shy twin. She's pretending to be her sister because she wants to, hook up with her sister's best friend Finn, and then she goes on this date, and it ends up being Bauer, Finn's brother. So it's like wrong sibling on both sides, and I like that one a lot. So, but yeah, I didn't have a wedding one.
Okay.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that's my favorite in that series.
Leah, what do you have for weddings?
I went just straight rom-com for these ones. So Rock Bottom Girl by Lucy Score. It has the banter that you're looking for, the over the top like humor. And then My Brother's Billionaire Best Friend by Max Monroe.
Okay.
It's just such a really funny book.
I have a list.
Yes, you do.
But you should also note that we did do a wedding episode, and we've linked it on our On the Shelf show notes at buzzingaboutromance.com, so that you can go and listen to that if you love wedding romances. But there's several other like listicles over there on the website so these are all
I did not link those, but
that's okay. If you search wedding, it'll come up. So these are my books I suggest, because I feel like the wedding date disaster has a little bit of the wedding date vibes with
Deborah Messing.
Yeah,
it definitely does.
So these are books that I think will hit for those with that wedding date vibe. So Bridesmaid for Hire by Megan Quinn.
I know. I read that. I was like, Becky.
I did
She's
the
like,
same
we
thing.
read it.
We read it. We read
She
it.
read it.
No, well, she read it.
That's true.
That's
She
right.
read it.
I'm the only one who read that. A year later, I'm the
I
only
Leah'd
one.
it, so that counts because it's a verb now.
That's true. The Worst Wedding by Pippa Grant. He's the brother of the bride. She's her best friend. It was cute. It was funny. I actually really did like that one, and then I got mad at the second book in that series. So, Touch by Touch by Kaylee Ryan, siblings of the couple. Making His Play by Mary Carr. It's hockey. It's his sister's best friend. Fake wedding date. Swoon by Lauren Rowe.
Oh yeah, that kind of okay.
They were not wedding dates, but then they are wedding dates because her ex is annoying AF.
That's true.
Back Check by Kelly Jamieson. 4-Day Fling by Emma Hart. That is my all-time favorite wedding date romance. Like, if I could convince you to read one book, it is The 4-Day Fling by Emma Hart. He's a famous hockey player. They get drunk together. They have a one-night stand. She has no idea who he is. Invites him to be her date for her sister's destination wedding. She shows up at the wedding and he shows up with her, and come to find out, her family, including her nephew, are his super fans. Yeah, awkward. But it's so good. The Spanish Love Deception by Alina Armas. The Wedding Date by Jasmine Gilroy. The Plus One by Maisie Eddings. Wedding Date by Monica Murphy. And Blue Hawaiian by Carla Luna. Actually, Carla Luna has a whole series that takes place at a resort that are weddings. So she has White Wedding, Blue Hawaiian. Can't think of what the third one is. And then Strictly Pretend by Carrie Elks. It's book 6 in the Salinger Brothers. And it's very well done and can be read as a standalone. So those are my suggestions if you're looking for a little wedding romance. I apparently have read a lot of wedding romances.
I thought I read more.
But like I said, if you read Kelly Jamieson,
right,
you have read a lot of wedding.
Because she has
one day.
She will be a rabbit hole read for you. You will be like, oh, I'm never coming back. Goodbye.
Yeah.
So
it's like, see you in a month.
More than a month.
Well, Amanda reads fairly quick when she rabbit holes.
Yeah, I do.
She does, but we keep giving her arcs and books and sip and discuss picks.
I'm almost out of the May hole for that.
I have 7 more to read.
May.
For May?
Yeah, I have 7
Sorry,
more
that
to
came
read.
out way wrong.
The May hole? That's a whole new thing. Is Justin Timberlake in the May hole?
Probably.
I just need to know.
I mean, he started the May hole.
He did. Yeah. Anyway, so that's a wrap on this episode. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into The Wedding Date Disaster by Avery Flynn. We'll be back Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the YouTube, or later that night, it'll be in your podcast feed. I think we have a topic for Sunday, but we're not 100% sold, I guess. Maybe? We do?
We do. We agreed.
We agreed? Okay.
Apparently you don't agree, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you want to change it, we can change it. We're all fine.
I'm fine with it. I just didn't want to, fully commit anybody. So we're talking...
We said in the chat that we were okay with
we
it.
did. Yeah, and I even responded to it.
Yeah, you did.
Small town suspense is what we're talking about on Sunday. So if you like small town and you like a little bit of suspense and mystery, because who doesn't want to live in a town full of murderers and stalkers? And a lot of romance. I'm just saying, horny people, stalkers, and murderers.
Nope.
That's what we're talking about on Sunday.
It should be on a billboard.
It should be, right? Move here. We're horny and have stalkers and murderers. So we'll be here Sunday night talking about that. And next week, we're diving into Running with a Sweet Talker by Jamie Albright. And I'm super excited to dive into that book because I read that first book in that series, and she writes fun, quirky rom-coms. So apparently she writes small towns where all the brides run away. because
They
it's an
do.
epidemic. Anyway, until next time.
Happy reading, everybody.